continuing with our Haggadah study, and we're really coming up now to different customs of the Haggadah. So we're talking about now the idea of dipping in a vegetable in karpas, that you're supposed to dip something in the karpas. So what's the source for this? So this is based upon the Gemara in Pesachim 114a that says that they brought before him, and Rashi says vegetables, and they dipped it in chazeres until they came to the parperes hapas. So this is a very opaque phrase. What does it mean that they dipped in chazeres until they came to the parperes hapas? So the Gemara says that the purpose of this dipping was to just awake the curiosity of the children. And so there's a lot of discussion. What did we do different here? So Rashi, Rashbam, they all say that generally speaking, that you ate the vegetables at the end of the meal. Like if you ever go to, I guess, in France, they still have this practice. They serve the salad after you have the whole course, then they give you salad. Weird, right? Here all of a sudden, they're serving the vegetables first. Nowadays, everybody serves vegetables. You like start with the salad. Not unusual. But this was unusual that you're eating the vegetables first. My mechutin, God bless him, says he's a doctor, and he only likes meat, and he does not like vegetables. So I guess for him, the difference would be why you're eating vegetables. Tosfos says no. The difference is that you dip twice on Seder night. At first, we dip the vegetable into the vinegar, what's karpas, and then you dip the maror after that. And so therefore, that's the question that the children are going to ask, why are we dipping twice? Why do we dip twice? So maybe that's according to this approach, it's so that the children will ask. Now, a third approach comes from Maharal. He says that the difference is not that we dip twice, because often you dip twice, but the difference is we dip once before the meal and once in the middle of the meal. So that's the timing of the dippings. So the what's the reason why we dip twice? So the Das Akanim, which is the commentary in the Middle Ages of Ashkenaz in France, says that it's to correspond to the two dippings that we did on Seder night, on the blood on the doorpost and on the lintel. That's one approach. The other is that it corresponds to the blood of the circumcision and the blood of the Pesach. So if the children ask, like they were doing the Manishtana, why are we dipping? Why are we dipping twice? What is the answer to that question? So that's a very interesting question. If somebody says to you, why are we dipping on Seder night? So what's the reason for this? So we have here 7 answers to this question. Anybody want to try and suggest one? What's the answer? Anybody want to make a suggestion? Yeah. Well, they all go along according to the similar themes. So that's any vegetable works. Some people say, oh, anything you make Adam on, but that's not really true. It's supposed to be a vegetable. You shouldn't use like a banana or like watermelon. You should use a vegetable. So people use parsley. In my house, every year, we use French fries and ketchup. Ketchup has vinegar, and French fries is a vegetable. I like it. Then we sometimes do potato chips and ketchup. Potato chips are nice and salty. So I have
When did we switch from salt water to vinegar? Or maybe I'm asking it wrong, but in our family it was always salt water.
Right.
So you can use, it's brought down in the commentaries that you can use vinegar. In fact, some say vinegar is preferred to kill the vegetable, the insects in it. But you could use either one, a salt water or a vinegar. It doesn't matter. It's just to dip it in something. So it's not specifically in anything. So let's see what this is about. The Rokeach writes that the Rokeach, who is he? He's called the perfumer, by the way. That's what Rebbe Eliezer of Worms in the 13th century. He says that he writes that you eat the karpas. Oh, Jeffrey, when we're done, I want to give you matzah. I didn't give you. And let me ask you a question. You're hosting the Seder?
Yes.
So both nights or one night?
Well, one night.
One night. So how many people you think you'll be?
About 16.
Okay, so I could give you like 2 boxes then.
Okay.
2 boxes you need, because each pound has 10 matzos, so you need to have enough matzos for people.
Are you sure? I can handle one. I'll buy another.
No. You're not buying anything from me, Jeffrey. No. Yeah, why don't we give you 2? And if it's too much, then you'll eat it the second night. All right. So, by the way, Mr. Dobson drove all the way there to attend. And he made the bride and the groom extremely happy. Thank you.
He's close to the family. Not a big deal. You want to look at this, right? This has got a lot of good stuff in it.
Please toss it. Okay, I'm not a hoarder. I throw stuff out. Okay, so now that's my motto in life. Throw it out. The Rokeach writes that you eat karpas so that the children will ask, why are you eating vegetables before the meal? And we respond to them that it's to remind us of the servitude, which was to gather up the straw and the grain. So they used to use the parts of the vegetable. Hey, Kobe, come on in. Who are you bringing with you?
That's from my friend Donnie.
Donnie, come in, sit down. What's your last name, Donnie?
Donnie Green.
Donnie Green?
We met back in the day. I was in class in Berlin with Max.
Wow. So hopefully you'll be coming more often.
He's back for a little bit.
Okay.
I'm in there, so
I love that. Here, give this. We're studying that. We don't give one to Kobe. Beautiful, Donnie. Very, very, very happy you're here. Moshe, very happy. Kobe. And we have some cookies and some Baruch Hashem.
Oh, Rabbi, I'd like to make a suggestion. I think there might be something wrong in the refrigerator because it's not smelling right in there.
Can you look and see what?
oh, did you?
Yeah, it's really bad.
Did you?
Can you look at it and maybe clean it out? Then that way you'll get rid of it. That's my suggestion. That'll be a big help to us.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I'm not sure if it's coming from the refrigerator.
What's going on?
Looks like it.
Where is it coming from?
Hugh, is there something rotten in there?
Well, I thought it was on base powder milk, but I never used it for cereal. And I think over time that powder milk went bad. I threw it away and left it.
Oh.
I see the washed picture in the right.
Probably that.
Oh, that's probably what. Did it smell?
Yeah, to some degree.
Okay, fine. I'll stick that in the dishwasher also, in addition. Thank you, Hugh. I appreciate you. Okay, so one of the things is they used to gather up the grain and the straw, and so that vegetable reminds us of that. That's the rokeach. The Mariel, who's the Mariel? He's right. We're talking about why the karpas. Why do we have karpas? So another approach is that this is from the Mariel. He's 15th century Germany, and Jacob Moen. He was the author who reminded us of the Rebbe who taught us a lot about the customs, and he said that we dip the karpas in order to get our appetite going. So we're going to eat the matzah with an appetite, because the truth is, the more you eat, the more you want to eat. So if you come into the Seder to eat the matzah on an empty stomach, you're just going to eat a little bit and you'll be done. So we want to encourage you to be eating a lot of it. This is a very interesting idea. Like nobody's ever, I never thought of it like that. So we eat the karpas, so that when it comes to the matzah, we'll eat more of it. It's such a geschmack to eat matzah. You should suppose every time you take a bite of matzah, many commentators say it's a mitzvah. Oh, by the way, tonight after the thing, I'm going to give you a box of matzah for your Seder. I can give you, Kobe, a box of matzah. And Mordechai and Aviva, can you please also send me the pictures you took of me giving you matzah? A third approach, from the Bach says that the reason why we dip before the meal is to basically that act like free people, because free people generally speaking, always dip before the meal. Like last night, Baruch Hashem, we had a wedding, and the wedding, we have a smorgasbord. You have a meal before the meal. It's an idea that you're celebrating. So you dip before the meal to say, look how free we are. Another explanation from the Bach is that this is a very practical answer. Why do you dip before the meal? Because it's going to take a long time to get to the meal. By the time you finish telling the story of the Haggadah and the Seder, who knows how much you've gone through. You Geschmack, it's Lebedik at the Seder. You say a lot of stuff. And by the time you get there, it's 5 hours later. So therefore, you have a little bit of food to make sure it's not, it's a festive occasion. Where are you gonna be for your Seder this year, Kobe?
Gonna be here.
No, well, you mean in Silver Spring? Not here. Yeah, Baruch Hashem. So you could share all these explanations with the Geschmack table. The Taz is writing in the 17th century, and he says and his name is Rabbi David Alevi, and he says, what's the reason? Because if we would just do the second dipping, which is the dipping of the maror, then nobody would be aware that it was because that we're dipping it for the mitzvah. So we dip the first time because everybody always dips vegetables. So we dip the first time to tell us, the second time is unusual. So therefore we have to do the first time in order to teach us that time. Right, this is very, very beautiful. The Maharal explains that since so he says as follows. Okay, a little confusing. He says that since the major change is the second time, so we say the reason why we dip a second time is to tell us that it's a mitzvah to eat tomorrow, because otherwise we would have said that it's just because of it's just because of the general way of dipping. Okay. The Pri Chadash says, this is beautiful. He says there's no answer. There's no answer to the question of the child. He says we have no answer. And the only reason why we do it is so to get them engaged. But we do random things, and there's no real answer. I love that. Yoav says, amazing. The Pri Chadash says, why do we dip the karpas? And he says there's no reason. What do you think about that, Jeffrey?
I love it, sure.
So you're supposed to do
Thanks
just
for the question.
do unusual things at the Seder, just to say, why are you doing this? And say, it's to engage. Beautiful, Bill. We just asked the question, why do we dip at the Seder? So good to see you. And it says we dip, just, the Pri Chodesh says the reason why we dip the karpas is no reason. It's just so people get engaged in a conversation. You do something unusual. It's like, it's like
Like the red hat.
no, I'm the red heifer. No, but the red heifer is accepted from God. This is more like, like when you do you start a speech with an interesting thing. So but we're going to have to take out the divider because to set it up for the prayers in a few minutes. But we have a little bit of an issue. But okay. So anyway. All right, so these are 7 answers about the dipping. Now we come to the next question, which is when we come to the part of the next part of the Seder where we lift up the plate and we say Halach Ma'anya. Where is this? This is right at the beginning of the Seder. Where we lift up the plate, Dani, we lift up the plate and we say this is the bread of affliction. Halach Ma'anya, this is the bread of affliction. So you're now home all the way till after Pesach?
No, I'm here for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to Orlando.
Orlando for Pesach.
Yeah.
What are you going to do there?
I'm going to go to one of these Pesach programs.
Oh, you're chilling with your family.
Yeah, like one of the Encore, one of these places.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You're going to get to see, are you going to meet my friend there? I have a friend, Mickey Mouse.
Could be, I'm calling White. We might make a stop to Mickey Mouse.
Okay. So right before the Manashtana, we take our matzah, we lift up the plate, and we with the Seder plate, which has all these things on it, which we haven't discussed yet, and we say, this is the bread of affliction that our forefathers ate in Egypt. So the question is, Why are we lifting up the Seder plate at this time? Halach ma'anya, we lift up the Seder plate. Why are we lifting it up?
Everybody can see it.
So let's just see what they say. We have here 3 questions to this beautiful discussion, or I mean, 4 answers. So the Rosh writes, you lift up the Seder plate, and that's how the Shulchan Aruch rules, that you have to lift up the Seder plate at this time. Sometimes the Seder plates these days are very big. They have very big Seder plates, but you should really, thank you, Hugh. You should really try to actually lift it, because that's actually the halacha, to lift up the Seder plate. So what's the reasoning? So first of all, so what's the reason? So one is the classic answer, because the same idea. We just want to get children to ask the question. That's what the Shibbolei Aleket says. Do we know the Shibbolei Aleket is? He was a Italian, quote unquote, doctor, rabbi in the 14th century. So, but I mean, that's the answer to everything. The Seder Hayom writes that he heard from one rabbi who was a Kabbalist. Kabbalist is a mystic, and he heard that you should take a very special plate and put on it 12 simanim, 12 different things, 12 special ideas, 12 symbolic items. And when you say the Halach Ma'anya, you're supposed to put it on your head and stand up like somebody who wants to go out and go for a walk, so that everybody will ask, what's the symbolism of this? Wow, this is very confusing. I've never seen that practice in my life. Has anybody seen that? And after you finish,
So you do the 3 bosses on your head?
I've never seen that either.
No, that's what you're saying. Put it on.
No, not just 3 matzahs, but you should take a plate and put 12 special symbols on it.
Okay, about plates.
So he said, but he doesn't like that practice. He doesn't like it. But another person says that you're supposed to turn around 3 times and say, this year we are slaves, next year we'll be free. I don't know. They have a lot of strange things, but this is the idea of picking up the Seder plate is the practice. Okay, another thing that you're supposed to do on Seder night is to wear a kittel. That everyone who's married should do. You wear a white garment, a white garment, a fully white garment. Also, last night at the wedding, you saw our son put on a kittel. So you still have time, if you don't have a kittel, to go and buy one. But it is a very important practice. A couple of years, I decided not to wear a kittel. You know why?
Because you get dirt.
No, that's not. No, the reason why I decided not to wear a kittel is because I decided to wear my matzah suit instead. I thought the matzah suit would engage the children more, but there's a lot of really strong reasons to wear the kittel. The Taz writes in the name of his father-in-law, the Bach, that a mourner should not wear the kittel. The person who's in mourning should not wear the kittel. And so we see from here that the reason why you wear the kittel is because it's an indication of freedom. Like when you wear a white suit, that's an indication of freedom. Donnie, are you a basketball fan?
I don't follow basketball. I play basketball.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we were in the hotel last night, and all the kids got very excited because the basketball teams who were playing in the tournament showed up at the game to play, and some of them were dancing with us. I was just worried that my son was going to tell his beautiful, lovely bride, just wait here. I'll be back in 15 minutes. I want to go chill with the players. Another reason for the wearing of the kittel. Anybody know another reason why we wear the kittel on Seder night? Another reason is because the kittel symbolizes that it's the garment of the dead. And so we wear this garment on Seder night in order to humble us. So we shouldn't be arrogant. We shouldn't, sometimes people have a Seder, they have in a beautiful hotel, a Pesach program, or they have like a large Seder, which they're hosting, and they look out at what they've accomplished, and they start thinking to themselves, look at what I've done. Look at what I've done. And you start getting arrogant. But that's a very bad approach, to be arrogant, chas v'shalom. So therefore, the best thing to do is to be humble in this manner. And so that's what it reminds us of. Another explanation is that this is the way the rabbis in Babylon used to dress, that they used to wear these white garments. Finally, last explanation about this is that this is from the Netziv. And the Netziv says that when we eat on Seder night, we're practicing like we used to eat in the time of the temple, and we eat the Korban Pesach. And the Korban Pesach was eaten like we're eating the food of God. And so therefore you're supposed to eat it with awe and trepidation, like we're in prayer. And so just like on Yom Kippur, we would be wearing the kittel as a sign of awe. And so therefore, for this reason also. Okay, so now the next topic that we'll cover, beautiful topic, is let's set up the Seder plate. So there are many different practices about how to set up let's talk about the steps of the Seder. Many people have this practice that before you start your Seder, you say all the simanim of the Seder. What are the simanim of the Seder? Kadesh, Orchatz, Karpas. So how many, so you say that there are 15, but not everybody has 15. Some combine some of them, and some have others. So the whole idea of a Seder means an order. So we're supposed to follow the specific order of the Seder, and we want to make sure you don't go out of order. So you shouldn't say, okay, let's start with the matzah. Yeah, the whole purpose of the Seder is you have to go in order. It's what I find it very off-putting that people make like their own Seders, and that bothers me because they make up, they cut and paste. The Seder has to be done in order. That's the whole thing. I think to me, it's a very big idea of the Seder is that we don't make our own Seder, that we don't make our own order. You have to follow the order. That's the idea. But everybody's house is different. Do the best you can.
You can have your own flourishes, but it has to be in the right order. What do you think?
That's exactly right, Aviva. Because this is the idea that many commentaries say every concept of holiness requires preparation. Preparation requires to be done in order. If you start, that's a big concept of our tradition, that you have the ability to be creative, but it has to be rooted. And if you don't follow the order of the Seder, you're missing it. It might not be a popular.
There's also 15 steps to the temple.
15 steps to the temple. So that's the idea of the Vayag and Moshe. Some say that therefore, for this reason, they used to sing the Shira when they walked up the 15 steps, they would sing songs. Therefore, we have to sing the Simonim. Okay. So one more idea about this is that it's also to teach the whole concept of the Seder through riddles. And this, through Chokhmah. You don't just teach it straight out. We don't just tell the story. So we have a way of reminding us of everything. And that's also the way we're supposed to try and teach the Seder night. We're supposed to try and teach it through special riddles. Okay, so now, okay. Wow. Okay, so now the most famous way to do this order of the Seder is Kadesh, Orchatz, Karpas, Yachatz, Magid, Rochza, Motimatza, Marakorech, Shulchan Aruch, Safam Barech, Hal Nirtza. But that's not the only way. There's a lot of different disputes about what is the proper order. Now, we're not going to go into them, but if you want to pursue that, there's actually many different orders of this, and there's a lot to talk about that. Well, let's There's a lot of different customs here. So some have the custom, I'll just give you one thing. Some of the custom that we don't say all the different steps at the beginning, but rather before each time we say it, we say, like before Kaddish, we say Kaddish. Before Orchatz, we say Orchatz. Oh wait, we have to stop here and let me just finish this. And we say before each time, and then we do the simon. But yeah, some have the custom, they say it at the beginning, so everybody knows everything that's going to come in. And some have the custom that before each time that we do it, we say the entire order of the Seder. So, okay, let us stop here and daven mincha.